Welcome back, VA users. In today's video, we are going to cover first in, first out, that is also known as FIFO costing method. Again, we have taken one of the product and you need to create a new product in the product category to verify this. So with the product category, you just need to link your costing method as FIFO and your costing level as organization. Now I'm considering that I do have certain stock available. Now I'm considering that there is a certain stock available. Okay, so I have 25,000 available with 10 quantities. Now in terms of FIFO and LIFO costing method, one of the important thing is system maintain. The VA system maintains certain queue numbers. Okay, so when I would say queue number, so you would be able to observe these queues there at the level of the costing info window. I'm considering that there is certain available stock is there, that is the per unit cost is 25,000 while on hand quantity is 10. Before I move on to the transaction again, I just want to remind you that I'm considering that my transaction taken place in my base currency and the unit of measurement is into the primary unit. In case if it is a different currency and a converted unit, you need to consider all these conversions to calculate the cost, and thereafter you would be able to calculate the cost accurately. Okay, so I do have the status. So here my costing status is says that 25,000 is already available and 10 quantity is already available with a queue number 1. Okay, now thereafter I'm doing a certain purchase and I'm purchased 100 quantities with 27,000, and on 1st of April I ordered to my vendor and vendor delivered the material on 4th of April, and as soon as I will receive these 100 quantities, the system generates the another queue that says the queue number 2, the cost of these next 100 quantities is going to be 27,000. Okay, so that is going to be the status at the level of the costing engine, where you would be able to see two lines. One line represents that there is 10 quantities with 25,000 as a queue number 1. The another would be 2 queue number, and that contains 100 stock is available with 27,000. And thereafter, if I will generate this, if I will generate the AP invoice, so there is a difference of 500. So soon it gets completed and the stock is not consumed, this gets converted into 27,500. Okay, so let me update this. Okay, so it becomes 27,500 for the next queue. Now thereafter we are doing a certain sales. There is a sales of 50 quantities, and we have considered our margin into a sale price, and my sale price becomes 35,000 for the customer, and I'm delivering the goods to the customer. So at the time of the delivering of the goods at the customer, my cost would come as 26,600. Now how this cost would be calculated by the system? So since we did a certain change here, 27,500, 27,500, so there might be not the accurate cost. Let's calculate that cost and we'll see what would happen. So the cost says, since I have first 10 quantities, since the method says first in, first out. So from the first queue, I just need to reduce 10 quantities because in my first queue, 10 quantities are available. So the value is going to be this 25,000 multiplied by 10 is going to be the value. That is the one value. Now the next 40 would be sold from the second queue. So it says 27,000 multiplied by 40. Okay, and then we will total up these two values, and total value that we are selling is 50,000, 50 quantities. So I will divide by 50. So it says that your value that you are selling it should be sold on 27,000. So my shipment would happen at 27,000, and similarly based on this cost. Now after this calculation, the system calculated that the value 27,000, and accordingly the system will book the cost of goods sold and the as debited, and the credit is going to be the inventory account. and thereafter I raises my AR invoices, and then again I just raised another purchase order where the value for the per unit value for the product is going to be 26,000 per unit, and 100 quantity I want to purchase again from the vendor. And as soon as I will receive this material on 6th of April, I'm assuming that on 6th of April I receive this material 100 quantities. Soon the material receipts get completed, the system will update or generate a new queue that is with 26,100 quantities, and that is going to be the queue number 3. And thereafter, if there would be any change at the level of the AP invoice, since in my transaction there is no change, so as soon as there would be any change, per unit difference would be there, and this stock is so far not sold. At that moment of time, the system will update the per unit cost here at this particular level if there is any kind of change. Okay, so that is how the first in first out works. Here the important part is, if I have my first queue not having the enough quantities when it comes to the sales, the way I have showcased here, that 50 quantity I was selling, but my first queue contains only 10 quantities, then there is a formula at the runtime. The system executes the formula, says that whatever the first queue total values, so it would be calculated. The first queue contains 10 quantities, so 25,000 multiplied by 10. The next is remaining is 40, then 40 multiplied by 27,500, and then the system will total up this value and divide this value with the delivery quantity, and then you would get the right cost on which you are selling your material. So that is the important part in terms of FIFO and LIF, in terms of first in first out. Into the next video we are going to cover the last in first out costing method, and that's all in this particular video in terms of first in first out. If you think that this video is helpful for you to understand the concept how the system calculates the first in first out while doing the delivery order, as well as how the system generates the queue, if it helps you to understand this entire concept, to subscribe our channel and share this video to your colleagues. If you have any kind of question or doubts, you can write certain comments. We'll try to give you the answers accordingly, or you can mail us by moving to our channel. The email ID is already provided. Till then, thanks a lot. Bye bye.